1996, a year that shook the ground beneath hip-hop. Forget everything you thought you knew, because the game was about to change forever. New voices, new styles, and a whole new level of lyrical warfare that took over the charts worldwide. A new generation was about to stake their claim. Women are making a strong return to the game as Foxy Brown was a force of nature. Ill Na Na was her statement. She wasn't afraid to be raw, to be sexy, to be powerful. Her flow was tight, her lyrics hit hard, and she demanded respect from the first verse. Ill Na Na was about attitude and about owning your space in a male-dominated world. Foxy was a queen in the making, and she let the whole world know it. Foxy's impact went beyond her own records. She opened the doors for a whole generation of female artists, proving that they could hold their own with the best of them. Her influence can still be felt today in the way women in hip-hop own their sexuality, their power, and their voice. She was a pioneer, a trailblazer, and Ill Na Na was her declaration of independence. Lil' Kim was something else. Her album Hardcore was a bomb that dropped right on the hip-hop landscape. She was fearless, unapologetic, and she owned her sexuality like no one else. Hardcore sparked conversations, pushed boundaries, and made people uncomfortable. Kim was raw, she was real, and didn't care what anybody thought. She was a queen in her own right, and she wasn't afraid to show it. Her lyrics were explicit, her style was bold, and she made it clear that she wasn't playing by anybody's rules but her own. Naturally, this sparked a fierce rivalry between her and her former high school friend, Foxy Brown, but she paved the way for a new wave of female artists who weren't afraid to be themselves, to be provocative, and to be powerful. She showed the world that women could be just as raw, just as lyrical, and just as successful as their male counterparts. Hardcore was a revolution, and Lil' Kim was leading the charge. Busta Rhymes was on a whole nother level. He had been a featured artist on other classic tracks for years, but his debut album, The Coming, was an explosion. His energy was unmatched, his flow was relentless, and his style was completely different. He pushed the boundaries, experimenting with sounds and rhythms that never been heard before. The Coming was a wild ride through Busta's creative mind. He was a master of wordplay, crafting rhymes that rapidly tumbled over each other. His delivery was explosive. His presence was commanding. He had a knack for creating unforgettable hooks that would stick in your head for days. The Coming was about pushing the limits of what was possible with language and sound. Busta's influence on hip-hop is immeasurable. He inspired countless artists to experiment with their flow and to embrace their individuality and to push the boundaries of the genre. He showed that hip-hop could be a relentless pursuit of innovation. The Coming and all of his future albums showed Busta's vision, and they left a mark on the hip-hop landscape. Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z was about the streets of Brooklyn, the hustle, the grind, and the dreams of something bigger. It was a reflection of his journey, from the Marcy Projects to the world. Reasonable Doubt was his blueprint for success. He wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, to talk about the struggles, the doubts, the fears that came with chasing a dream. His lyrics were sharp, his flow was smooth, talking about life on the streets. The impact of Reasonable Doubt was undeniable. It resonated with people who understand the hustle, who had faced their own challenges, who dared to dream of a better life. The Jigga Man went on to become a billionaire and became involved with several businesses and helped create a musical powerhouse family. He's also spoke out on the numerous racial issues in our society. He sold over 100 million records and has won countless awards, including 24 Grammys. Most hip-hop fans and publications list him as the all-time greatest rapper. Reasonable Doubt was his story, but it became a soundtrack for anyone who dared to chase their own dreams. 1996 was a turning point. They pushed boundaries, challenged conventions, and redefined what it meant to be a hip-hop artist. You'll hear the echoes of '96 in every rhyme, every beat, every artist that followed. like the ones who debuted in '97. But for 1996, it's a wrap.